Hey guys, it's Aiden from Gamers Class. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how to pick the correct carry hero. So before we get into the video, just a little bit about myself is that I'm a Dota 2 player that has been playing Dota and Dota 2 for more than 10 years now. The main roles I've played are mid lane and most recently carry. And the highest MMR I've achieved is 8,200. So with that being said, I'm going to start off the video here. And firstly, starting off, I just want to cover some of the meta heroes and also kind of just the baseline. So I think one of the important things to first figure out before I kind of get into the main tips is you want to have a decent idea of what your main carry heroes are. Like, what are the heroes you're actually comfortable on? What are the heroes you actually feel like you've mastered properly? And these are going to be the heroes that you're going to be wanting to pick off most of the time. Obviously, if you're trying to learn a hero, that's fine as well. But in those circumstances, it's going to be a bit harder to pick your hero, because if you're picking a hero you don't really understand, you're not going to play like matchups like they're supposed to be played a lot of the time, and also you're just not going to know which matchups are good and which ones are bad until you played them. So starting off, also just like a kind of brief example of what we actually want out of our pick before we start with some of the main things is you're going to be looking for, like, what you want out of your hero as a carry is a hero that's going to be able to get out of the lane with farm, so go even in the lane or win the lane. These are like your two things you're looking for during the laning stage. And then when it comes to mid game and late game, you're looking for a hero that has a win condition. So there's a lot of different win conditions in Dota. This might be some sort of timing. So for example, if it's Wraith King, you're looking to get a Radiance and you're gonna look to fight them because your team fight is a lot stronger. You feel like they can't handle your Radiance timing, something like this. Let's say, again, you're playing Wraith King, but all of your heroes do magic damage. You don't really want to buy Radiance. The enemy's gonna be going BKB's first item or something. You're gonna do more of like a fighting Wraith King. You're gonna do like Armlet, Deso, more type build, right? So this is one of the things that's important when you're picking your hero. You need to have some sort of way that you feel like you're gonna win the game. So that can be a good call matchup. Like I said, that can be a good item timing. It can be a good timing push, like a Draw Ranger or something, or a Lycan. There's a lot of different ways you can win, but the important thing is that you have some sort of idea of how you're going to win the game when you're picking your hero. So you want to have some sort of reason. And then first, obviously the first thing I said, you want to have a decent lane or a lane that's winning. So with that being said, now that we know what we actually want out of our pick, what we want out of our hero, we can actually start going through some of the things we're looking for to actually achieve that, right? So the first thing that we're going to be seeing in most games is we're going to be seeing the enemy support heroes. And as a carry player, this is very important because a lot of the time you're going to be picking certain heroes because of the enemy supports that they've picked. Speaking from all pick ranked, you're almost every game you're gonna be, well, not almost, like 80% of the games you're gonna be picking in the second phase, right? So that means you're gonna see two heroes before you pick your hero. In most of these games also, that's gonna mean that you're gonna see two support heroes because I'd say in like 80-90% of the games the first two picks are gonna be supports. Obviously, if the first two picks are carry and mid lane, that's perfect for you as well, because then you're just gonna pick a good core matchup, right? So what are the things we're looking out for? So if they pick two support heroes and we're picking in the second phase as a carry, we're basically just trying to see how much catch does those supports have, and also like what are the good matchups against those supports of the heroes we play, right? So what heroes that we play do we actually think do pretty well against these heroes? So in this case, I'm looking at a pretty high MMRC game of Raven. And we can see here, he sees Snapfire and he sees Earthshaker in the first phase, so he decides to pick Juggernaut. So again, this is a pretty logical decision. You see two support heroes that have pretty good disable, a lot of burst damage, magical burst damage, and we're just gonna pick Juggernaut here that has built-in spell immunity, and it's gonna make the game a little bit simpler for us to play, right? Especially in the mid game. And also the lane is probably going to be pretty decent considering we see a hero like Earthshaker. Earthshaker is not really the strongest laner, and Juggernaut is pretty solid in the lane. Also, what else do we see as Raven in this game? We see in our first phase, my teammates actually picked Grimstroke. So this is going to be my pos 5. Juggernaut Grimstroke is a very nice combo. Obviously, spin with Inkswell in the laning stage. It's just really, really nice. And it's just a really solid laning combo. So again, a very, very logical decision to pick this hero here. Why are we picking Juggernaut? Well, it's pretty good against his supports. It kind of negates the catch they have. And it's also a very good lane partner with Grimstroke, as well as having like pretty decent synergy in the mid game and so forth with Grimstroke. Like you kind of want to fight a little bit more as Juggernaut, and you know, Grimstroke's pretty good at that as well. So again, this is kind of like what you're going to be looking for, right? You're looking at the enemy supports that they picked, or if it's not supports, let's say the enemy pick anti-mage in the first phase, right? What are the main heroes that are going to come to my mind when I see anti-mage? Well, it's pretty easy, right? The main heroes that I think about when I see anti-mage on the enemy team, 3 heroes come to mind basically. The first is Phantom Assassin. It's a really good matchup against anti-mage. Very, very hard for anti-mage pretty much throughout the whole game. If you're ahead on net worth or even as a PA, your matchup is a lot better. Basically just because anti-mage does not want to buy MKB. It's just a sad time for him. Terrorblade is another hero that's immediately going to come to mind when I see anti-mage. Again, just a very good hero matchup. He can push anti-mage's towers with his team. He can be a lot more active with his team, which means you're going to be playing 5v4 a lot of the time. You have a very good core matchup. You can deal with lanes. You have Reflection, which mana burns anti-mage. You have very high armor. And you like buying items like Butterfly a lot of the time pretty early, which again, anti-mage does not like buying MKB. Then there's also heroes like Ricky and Troll. These are also pretty good against anti-mage, right? So you see supports, you're going to be picking heroes that are pretty decent against those supports. Again, you don't really need to like counter the enemy supports, but the important thing is you're picking heroes that like feel, you know, comfortable playing against those supports. Again, if you see a enemy core like a carry, then you're going to be actually trying to counter that, because that's pretty much a win condition in itself. So again, if you're picking in the second phase, these are like the main things you're going to be looking for. So just to come to a bit of a conclusion, you're going to be looking at the enemy's first 2 picks, which is mainly going to be supports. So you're going to try pick a hero that has good matchups against that. And again, I gave a couple of examples of that. And then also, something I didn't directly mention, but you're also going to be looking at the first 2 heroes that your teammates picked. So in this case, it's Grimstroke. So what lanes nicely with Grimstroke? Well, pretty much any melee hero is like happy, especially melee heroes that have like a jump. So like Ricky Grimstroke is also really strong. Juggernaut Grimstroke, really, really strong. Obviously Spin plus Inkswell, it's just a really nice combo. So, you know, you're looking for synergy with your heroes, and you're looking for a hero that has decent matchups against the enemy. And also, like I said, you're looking for heroes that are also decent in the meta, and also that you're comfortable playing. Don't pick a hero if it's a completely free game of a hero, but you don't know how to play the hero that well. don't feel pressured to pick it, because again, it's not going to be a free game because you don't really know how to play the hero like that, right? If you want to kind of get into that, you need to just start playing the hero like a lot. If it's a hero you actually want to start picking, and just learn the hero and learn all his matchups and just play the hero. So if you feel uncomfortable doing that, like I said, you can do it in unranked games or whatever. But again, I suggest picking heroes that you're actually comfortable playing. Okay, so there's another thing also that we're going to be looking for a lot of the time when we're picking our hero, and that is items. So first thing that comes to mind is, what are the items that are good against the enemy heroes in this game? And what are the items that are good in the meta? For example, the items that are good in the meta a lot of the time are gonna like depend on like what makes the heroes in the meta actually good. So for example, Radiance is pretty decent item. That's why heroes like Wraith King is doing pretty well. Battle Fury is pretty strong as well. It's a very cheap item, and it's just like 4,100 gold, and it makes you farm really fast. This item's very good as well. And a lot of Battle Fury heroes are very viable. So again, we see the enemy heroes, and we're gonna think what items are actually good against those heroes. And we're gonna then want to pick a hero that has a natural build up to that item, because it's just gonna make it, it makes sense, right? You're picking a hero that wants to buy the item that are good against the enemy heroes. So it's just a very logical way to pick your hero, because it's just lining up your timings very nicely against the enemy heroes. A good example of this is like, let's say you're last picking as a carry, and you see that the enemy are playing something like Ursa or even TA. Like you might even see like a Ursa and a Legion, and some very heavy physical damage heroes that are just you want specific items against those heroes. And a lot of the time the kind of items you want to buy versus these heroes are items like Halberd are really good, items like Assault Curse are really good, items like Butterfly are really good. Any items that help with like reduce physical damage and kind of allow you to kite the hero better. So any heroes that can buy those items are automatically going to become decent options against those heroes, right? So this is also a very good way to think about what hero you're going to be picking, what items are good against the enemy heroes, and what heroes like buying those items. Those heroes are then going to become very decent picks, right? Because you're going to have a reason to buy a certain item, and it's naturally good on the hero, so it's just going to make the game a lot easier for you. Okay, so I think that's covered a lot of the things, but again, just kind of going over it, most of the things I've covered here is what you're going to be looking for when you're picking in the second phase. Just moving on a little bit to in those few games where you actually get last pick. Like I said, in most games, if you're last picking as a carry player, it's normally going to mean that your mid laner either first picked his hero or picked in the second phase. And when should you take last pick as a carry? Whenever your mid laner doesn't. Pretty much every game that your mid laner does not want to take last pick, then you're going to look to take it. And what are you looking for out of the last pick? Well, the last pick becomes a little bit more, obviously, because you have more info, so you have more control over your matchups. So generally, if you're last picking as a carry, you're going to see the enemy support, and you're going to see the carry and the offlaner. And this is all very, very, very important. Very important info for a carry play, obviously. Like the enemy offlaner, that's who you're laning against, and also kind of the hero. A lot of the time, the enemy offlaner is a hero that is pretty like annoying for the carry throughout the whole game. So if you can pick a hero that is just really good against it in the lane, you can kind of just shut down his game a little bit and just make your game a lot easier. Obviously, seeing the enemy carry matchup as well, you're going to be wanting to pick a hero that either outscales that hero or is just a very good matchup. For example, just to mention some obvious ones that come off the top of my head, let's say the enemy picked like a Medusa, right? Then immediately you're going to be thinking of a hero like Anti-Mage or something like this, right? Maybe the enemy picks Morphling, so heroes like Peel are going to become a lot better. Heroes that have like illusions, because Morphling is very single target based. Again, this is gonna also depend on the enemy supports. Like, let's say they have Morphling, but their support is Earthshaker and, you know, another hero like, I don't know, what's a good example? Let's say Grimstroke. You know, these heroes are pretty solid against illusions. So, okay, maybe I don't want to pick Pio anymore. Again, these are all very basic examples, but this is kind of the way you need to think about why you're picking your hero, right? So yeah, when it comes to last pick, your job as last picking as a carry is you're pretty much just looking to pick a hero that does okay in the lane or wins the lane very hard and has a way to win the game. Because actually, if you're last picking, you have no excuse to not pick a hero that has a win condition, because you see the enemy carry matchup, and that's the main actual role you need to counter if you're looking for like a game winning pick. So again, these are, I'd say, probably the top things we're looking at when you're picking your hero as a carry player. They're all very important. And I hope this video helps you guys picking a little bit better heroes in your ranked games. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.